All right, here we go. Magnus, wake up. Woo-hoo, time to go. We got work to do. Let's. Who remembers what we still had to do? I know we have to do something on practice test 1, but I don't remember what it is. I don't remember where we stopped. Are we ready for number 10? I think we're ready for number 10. So here we go. We are on practice test 1. And we are doing problem number 10. So we're going to consider this picture. Alright, and we're going to sketch the inverse. Now, how do we sketch the inverse? What do we do to sketch the inverse? So I'm going to start clear at the left side of the picture, and the first point that's plotted on my paper is the point 1, 2, 3, -4, 0. So I'll plot 0, -4. I'm just flipping the X and the Y. Then I have -3, -1. So I'll plot -1, -3. Then I have -2. Oh wait, no, that was -3, -2. So that's -2, -3. All right. It helps so much when I label these points that I'm not trying to do this all. So -3, -2. All right, so I got that one. -2, -1. -1, -1. And 0, 0. So there is the first part of the picture. Then I have 2, 1, so I'll plot 1, 2. And 3, 0, so 0, 3. So there is the inverse. Is that okay with everybody? So we just take whatever the ordered pairs of the original are and we switch them. Now, is the original picture a function? The original picture drawn on the paper, is it a function? Yeah. The original is a function. It passes the vertical line test. Is the inverse a function? No. Why? Well, this doesn't pass the horizontal. This doesn't pass the vertical. So it depends whether, I mean, you can answer it either way. The original doesn't pass the horizontal, but the inverse itself doesn't pass the vertical. So is this thing 1 to 1? No, because in order to be 1 to 1, it has to pass both tests, and it doesn't. All right, and then number 11. Number 11, we have to see what changed going from the original picture. So here's the original picture. All right, whoops. So there's the original. Now, what happened with the new picture? So take a look at the new picture. What happened? Well, one difference is it's upside down, isn't it? It's upside down? What other difference is there?
It switched.
It went
over. Switch this way? Now, what, guys, if we don't need to review, we'll test tomorrow, okay? We need to get focused. Here's the original picture. Look at the new one. Notice that the big triangle, the triangle that's too tall, is now on this side and upside down. So we not only flipped the picture upside down, but we flipped it across the y-axis. Now, is it the same size? Are the triangles and circles all the same size? Yes. So there aren't any multipliers in the problem. Are they situated in the same location? In other words, have I picked them up or moved them down or sideways or anything like that? No. Isn't the big triangle still situated right at the origin? It's just situated on this side. So we haven't moved it at all. This is the only thing we've done. So how do I reflect that in the equation? What does the equation look like if I want to turn it upside down and flip it across the y-axis? I got to put negatives in. So it's going to be negative f of negative x. Negative f of negative x. This one would turn it upside down, and this one would flip it sideways. Right? All right, that takes care of practice test 1. Let's go to 2. Here we go. Let's see if we can get through it start to finish. I think we can. Remember, this is what your test is going to look like. So here we go. The given picture you're going to use for these problems is this handy dandy little trapezoid thing. And the little semicircle. So pay attention to how wide things are and how tall things are in the original, because we're going to be changing that. So here's the first one, which is f of negative 2x. Now let's deal with the negative. Let's deal with the negative first. What does the negative, forget the 2 for a moment, just the negative, what does the negative do to this picture? Look where it is. Flip it this way. This way. That's a sideways flip. Sideways flip across the y-axis. So now my circle, same size, just over here. Trapezoid, same size, just over here. So that takes care of the negatives. Everybody good with that? Now what does this 2 do? Now pay attention to where it is. What does that 2 do? Divides the width. So in other words, instead of this semicircle being 4 units wide, it's now going to be 2 units wide. So it still goes down 1, but now it's only 2 units wide. And the trapezoid, instead of being 4 across, it also is just 2 across. So I'm going to erase the black one so you're not confused by that. There is your picture. Does that make sense to everybody? You gotta remember these rules here. All right, B says absolute value f of x plus 1. Okay, so absolute value, whole problem, whole thing in absolute value. What does that do? Everything up. So that means the trapezoid is going to stay just like he is, but the semicircle is going to come up. Is that okay with everybody so far? Now what about the plus 1 on the end? Up 1. So we're going to take every point and pick it up 1. All right, here we go. That is in the same spot as this was, right? So what do we know about a number that's in that spot? It divides the width. So the width of the original trapezoid is what? How wide is the original trapezoid? 4. So the new width is going to be 4 divided by a half, which is 4 times 2 over 1. So the new width is going to be 8. So it's still up. This is the original, remember. So it's still up. It's just 8 across. And what about the semicircle? It is also 8 across. Got it? What's this do right here? Remember PEMDAS, we're starting inside. What's this do? What's this do? Right 3. Remember we start inside our parentheses, so we're going to move our picture right 3. Everything's going to go right 3. So everything right 3 means this semicircle is going to start over here, 1, 2, 3. But it's still 4 wide. It's going to look like that. And the trapezoid is going to start here. Here we go. So everything is shifted. This exact picture is just shifted 3 units to the right. Now, what does the 2 out in front do? This is 3 right. This is multiplies the height. So the trapezoid that was too tall is now going to be 4 tall. And the circle that was 1 down is going to be 2 down. Now we've got a lot going on here. Let's start inside the parentheses. What does that mean when it's just x inside the absolute value? This means we draw the right and mirror it on the left. Right? So what's on the right over here? Our circle. So we just draw it. You don't get to decide. Whatever is on the right gets drawn, period. No matter what it is, whatever is on the right side is drawn. Then you take whatever that is and you draw it again over here. So that takes care of this right here. Now what does the 2 do? Multiplies the height. And what does the negative do? Over x-axis, so upside down. So see this little circle right here that's down 1? He's actually going to go up 2. Because he's going to be twice as tall and upside down. And this one the same. So that is the final answer to the question. All right. Page of graphing done. Now we got a page of word problems. So here we go. We know what they are. We practiced them. We're ready. First problem is our handy dandy box. So we're cutting the corners out, you know the drill. It's a 10 by 16, and the sides are X. Here we go, cutting them all out, okay. So you need an equation for the volume of the box. They're always the same.
10 minus 2x.
Parentheses, 10 minus 2x. 16 minus 2x. X, that's it. Please don't forget the X. Remind yourself that volume is length times width times height. Okay? Now we need domain. Always the same. X is going to be between 0 and something. 5. Why is it 5?
It's the lowest number divided by 2.
Exactly. It's half the smallest dimension.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Now we go to our calculator. When we set up our window, this is X min and X max. It is crazy how people forget to type in the new equation. Make sure you type in your equation. Probably have an equation similar to that already in there, but make sure you type in the new one. Now, as far as the graph goes, no one really cares what it looks like, except what do we have to see? The top of the hill?
Yeah.
So adjust your Y max so that you see the top of the hill. I see it, so I'm good. So then we second calc. Don't forget you have to do all the left bound, right bound stuff. And I got a maximum point of 2,144. What does the 2 tell me? My X. What does that tell me? That the corners I cut out should be 2 inches? What does the 144 tell me? Volume? So the answer to the question is the volume is 144 cubic inches. That's the volume. Brooks?
How do you know how to set your window up when you're going to grab that?
These are the X's, and the Y's are always 0 to something. And you just guess on the something until you see the top of the hill. If you can't see the top of the hill, you need to make it bigger. Find the final cost of your restaurant meal. If the food costs $16.55, so we're going to start with $16.55, and we're going to multiply that by a 7% tax, so we're going to add on 7%, and we're going to add on a 20% tip,
80%.
right? So what do I multiply by? If I'm adding on 7%, this is going to be 1.07. If I'm adding on 20%, this is 1.20. Now those of you that are saying 0.8, you're not engaging your brain. Am I deducting the tip? Do I subtract a tip? No. Tips get added on. If they're added on, it's 1 point whatever. If they're subtracted, it's 1 minus. But what's subtracted? Oh, coupons are subtracted, discounts are subtracted, sale things are subtracted, but tips are added on. Come on, common sense. All right, so then I just type it all in. And I got 21.25 as my final price that I would pay. Alright, so now I got my mixture problem, and I'm just automatically writing down my general format that I use for all my mixture problems. When I am mixing two things together to get a third thing, there are 6 numbers that I need to plug into my equation to solve it. So my percentages are easy: 28%, 10%, and 22%. $20 cups of 10%. So the 20 is going to go here because it's linked to the 10%. What goes here?
X.
X, the how much, that's what I'm looking for. That's going to be the answer to my question. And if I am adding together X and 20, then this parentheses, the final amount, is going to be 20 plus X, or X plus 20. Because you're adding this plus this to get that. So then we can solve it. So 0.28x plus 2 equals 4.4 plus 0.22x. Now on the quiz, some of you missed this. You forgot how to solve an equation. So we got to get all the x's on one side and all the other things on the other side. So if we put all the x's together, we'll get 0.06 and 2.4. Then we'll divide. And what is that?
40.
What is that, 40?
Yeah.
Help me out, Dave. My decimals get all messed up.
2.4 divided by 0.06 is 40.
Yeah. And what's my unit on their cups? So 40 cups. All right, amount times percent, amount times percent, amount times percent. And then the last word problem, we're going from 11,800 up to 12,200. So the percent increase is going to be the change divided by the original. How much did we change? We went from 11.8 to 12.2, so that is 400. And the original was 11.8. So that should give us our percent increase. What is that? About a 3.4% increase. The decimal actually was 0.3389. So that's 3.4% roughly. We're done with the word problems, all right. Now, on the practice test, I have this all squeezed on one page, but I actually spread this out on the actual test. But this is the last stuff now. So let's see if we can get through this. Easy, here we go. Consider this function as drawn. Is it a function? Is that original picture a function?
Yeah.
Yes. Why?
Passes vertical.
Passes vertical line test. Remember, we're looking at the original function drawn on the paper. It passes the vertical line test. Would its inverse be a function?
No.
No. Why not? The picture drawn on the paper does not pass the horizontal line test. Right? So is it 1-to-1?
No.
Why not? Doesn't pass vertical and horizontal. It's gotta pass both of them, right? And it doesn't. Now sketch the inverse. So I suggest you label those points. Let's see, the first one is -2, 0. So 0, -2. The next one is -1, 2. So it would be 2, -1. And then 0, 0. All right, then we have 1, 1. 0, 2. I don't have a scale down there, but I think that's 1, 2, 3, -1. So -1, 3. -1, 4. Is that what your inverse looked like? So how do we do that again? How do we sketch the inverse? We just take all the ordered pairs and flip them, right? Agnes? Are you good on that problem?
Yep.
Number 6? All right, number 7, we're gonna find the inverse. So here we go. What are my steps to do the first one? A here, find the inverse. So this is y, so I'm gonna flip. So x equals 3y minus 8 over 2y plus 1.
Yes.
Now what?
Multiply by 2y plus 1.
So x times 2y plus 1 equals 3y minus 8. So in other words, bring this denominator over here.
Distribute.
So 2xy plus x equals 3y minus 8.
Then
Then you flip
switch.
the x and the 3y.
Yep, now this is the step we sometimes forget. We need to get all the y's on the same side. So these two are going to switch places. So 2xy minus 3y equals -x minus 8.
And then factor y out.
Now that we have the y's on the same side, we can factor them out.
Divide by 2x minus 3.
And remember, we're getting y alone, so we're going to divide. And the test is going to have an answer blank that says F inverse equals, and that's what you write in the answer blank. That's the inverse. Righto? All right, B. Same directions, find the inverse. So we'll start the same way. Switch the variables.
Multiply by 4.
Multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of the fraction.
Add 3.
Remember, you want him by himself.
Add
Switch
3.
them. So you'll add 3
Divide by 8.
and divide by 8. And that is what you're going to put in the answer blank for F inverse. Easy? Okay, 8. Oh, now we've got two equations, and the question is, are they inverses? How do you check to see if things are inverses or not?
Make up a number.
Make up any number.
Okay, so the original, or here are the two problems. 2x plus 3, and then the other one is x minus 3 over 2. So the guys are saying pick any number for x. So let's say 10, any number. If you put 10 in, what does your y turn out to be?
23.
23. So then step over here to your second equation and put 23 in for the x.
And you end up getting 10.
And if they're inverses, you will get
10.
10. Well, do we? 23 minus 3
20.
divided by 2. Are they inverses?
Yeah.
Yes. Why? Yes, they are inverses because 10 gave me 23 and then 23 gave me 10. Now, that's my words. The idea is that you have this relationship. So somehow you have to describe that relationship. That the original x gave you a y, that the other equation turned back into the original x. Right? Evan, what are you grinning about?
Oh, sorry. Just
Grinning's good. It's fine. All right, number 9. Find an ordered pair that's described by this set of parametric equations if x is 2t plus 1, y is t squared, and t is negative 2. Well, this is pretty easy, right? What's x? If t is negative 2, x would be negative 3, and y would be 4. Done. Right?
Okay, I get it.
Number 10. Now, x is 4 minus 2t, and y is 1/2 t. So it's the same kind of idea. You have your these are called parametric equations. But instead of plugging in a t value, you're supposed to combine these into one equation.
Oh, what is it called?
Elimination.
The t's together and the
We
k's
can
out.
eliminate, and that would be easy in this problem. If I wanted to wipe out the t's, if I wanted these to match, what would I have to multiply the second one by?
4.
4. So I'm going to leave the first one alone, but multiply the second one by 4. Because 4 times 1/2 is 2. And now I can add them. This is the elimination you did back, when you were freshmen. That's all it is. I'm going to add them. These will cancel. These don't add, so I have to just say x plus 4y equals, and there's your equation. All you have to do is take these two original equations and combine them into one that has x's and y's. Okay? And then finally, the last question on the whole test. I've got this original picture, and then I've got a new picture, and I've got to figure out what changed. So let me look at the original. There's the original. It's 3 tall and 4 wide. I'm going to kind of make notes to myself. Then I've got this little circle. It's 2 wide and 1 tall. Then I got my trapezoid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide, and 2 deep. So 6 wide, 2 tall. All right. So let's look at the new picture and talk about what changes were made. What do you notice about it?
It's upside down.
It's upside down, so one difference is it's upside down, upside down. It's taller.
Yeah.
Anything else happen?
It went down.
It went down too. Now, can we tell how much taller it is? Now I made notes here. My triangle was 3 tall. How tall is this triangle? So it's 2 times as tall. So we went upside down, we made it 2 times as tall, and we moved it down 2. Would everybody agree those are the changes?
Yeah.
So now you have to build all that into an equation. So how do you handle the upside down? Negative out in front, right? And 2 times as tall, that 2 goes here, doesn't it?
Yep.
And then how do we handle a down 2? Minus 2 outside the parentheses. If you put it inside the parentheses, it would be a shift, it would be wrong, yes. But it would be a shift sideways. Right? Okay, so this would be the answer to the question. So you're doing your graphing backwards. I've drawn it, you're building the equation. Okay? All right, I got one thing to add, or one thing to talk to you about. You know, maybe you don't know, that I'm an English major also. I'm a licensed English teacher.
Okay.
And so I want to support the English department in your writing. I think writing is really important. That's what distinguishes a super duper person from an average person, is your ability to communicate with both the spoken and the written word. So every semester, just once a semester, that's all, you're going to write me a little paper. And when I say a little paper, I mean a little paper. Minimum 1 page. Okay? So a page paper you're going to write. This paper, and I got to look at the dates because I didn't look it up. I didn't look and see. This paper is going to be due right before Thanksgiving. So you got plenty of time. So let's keep in mind, before you start screaming and going home and complaining to mom, Dad, keep making us write a paper. I'm giving you like, what, 6 weeks notice?
What's it on?
And it's 1 page,
What's it on?
okay?
Minimum?
1 page minimum. 1 page minimum. So it's gotta be a full page. Do not try to fake me out by putting your title like halfway down so you have about this much body. No. Write me at least a page. And here's what you're writing about. We're leading up to Thanksgiving, which is a time to be grateful, right? And you're probably sick of hearing that. Everybody says, well, you gotta be thankful. Well, you do need to be thankful. You do. But what gets overlooked sometimes is, when I ask, like if I said to Colin, what are you thankful for? He might say something like, my mom. Well, of course he's thankful for his mom. We're all thankful for our moms. I want you to focus on a quality that you have, you personally have, that you are thankful for. So maybe you're a good listener. Maybe you're a great big brother. Maybe you are patient. So you're going to pick a quality that you possess, and you're going to tell me why you're grateful for that quality. So how has that quality helped someone else? How has that quality helped enrich your home, your work life, your school, whatever? So you're going to tell me about why you are grateful for that talent that you possess. Now, believe it or not, this is pathetic. But last year, 2 kids plagiarized this paper.
Huh.
Now, let's
Let's
be serious, people. First of all, it's just a page. If you can't crank out a page, I don't even know what to say to you at this point in your life. You need to write a page. Second of all, it's about you. It's about you. So
How do you plagiarize this paper?
yeah, I know. That's what I'm like, oh my gosh. So
How'd you know it was plagiarizing?
luckily, because do I look stupid?
No, you don't.
No.
But like, when
Okay.
you like were
Were they in
reading
the
it,
same
what was
class?
it like?
And I think it's
Who was
important
it?
that you know that when you get these papers back, you are going to understand. I read every single word of every single paper. And I do pay attention to grammar. I do have an English degree, so I pay attention to grammar, but I don't count off huge amounts for grammar unless it's repeated stupidity, like not capitalizing I. Really? We're grown-ups now, and I know when you text, maybe you don't, but this is a formal written paper. It should be not all one sentence. The whole thing shouldn't be one sentence. It should have sentences and transitions and conjunctions. I mean, regular written English, not like you're texting your friend something, okay? I'm not super picky about it. You're gonna misuse commas. Adults misuse commas. I mean, commas are misused all the time. But if there's 50 misused commas, yeah, I'm gonna count it off. But not for little grammatical errors. The only way you can't be successful on this paper, well, obviously, it's gotta be your own work. But if it's your own work, it has to be long enough, so it has to be at least a page. Right? It has to be on topic. So if you walk in, Colin, with a paper that says, I'm so grateful for my mom, I'm gonna say, gosh, I love you and I love your mom, but you get a 0 on the paper because you didn't follow directions. So you gotta be on topic and you gotta be on time. Now, any paper that isn't turned in at the beginning of the class period, when I tell you it's due, and I'm getting ready to go back and look at my calendar so I can tell you when it's due. If it's not turned in, and I don't care what the reason is, if it's not turned in hard copy form, I need a hard copy. I grade them on the elliptical, I need a hard copy. Is automatic, no more than half credit. Okay? This should be the easiest 20 points you ever got in this class. It's a 20-point paper, 20-point assignment. Should be the easiest. You're writing about yourself, for Pete's sake. It's easy. But if you don't follow directions and you don't turn it on time and you try to cheat, you're just going to get a 0. I'm not going to mess around with you. Okay?
Who plagiarized it?
I'm not going to tell you who plagiarized it. I will say
Were they in the
though,
same class?
that God bless one of the parents when I emailed and said, you know, I can't believe this happened. I'm so disappointed. So not only did that kid have to rewrite the paper for me, of course got a 0, but had mom made this kid rewrite the paper, but also had to rewrite a 5-page essay about the importance of integrity. Mom made the child do that. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Did you give boys?
I was
No.
Give him points in 5 days.
Was
I
the paper
graded it.
about himself, or was it about like a random